Hi, this is Jack with Jack Banks Design LLC. I'm the inventor of the RFAC, this little guy. If you want to learn more about these, you can go to rfac.us. Welcome to another edition of Friday Fails. This is where I document customer bolt failures every Friday. If you have a broken bolt, send it to me and I'll send you a free RFAC. Last week we had this lone bolt tail. Unfortunately, the bolt head apparently dropped out the mag well into the weeds. So that was not recovered. But here's an entire one from the same customer. What I gather is probably a machine gun rental. And he did not tell me the brand of these, but he said it's a well-known consumer grade AR manufacturer. So in this instance, even I don't know the manufacturer, but they had a bunch of these. They had a bunch of them fail. These are just the two that he still had laying around. They threw the rest away, but he kind of intimated that there were, maybe somewhere in the tens that they had fail from this particular supplier. These are marked MPI, by the way, so that's a opportunity to talk about, the markings on these. Just really, if it's not a contract bolt, the marking doesn't mean anything anyways. If it is a contract bolt, it's going to be marked just because it says it has to be. But if it's not, there's nobody holding anyone's feet to the fire. There is no, outside of a military contract, outside of the TDP, there is no universally agreed upon procedure for pressure testing and then inspecting bolts. How many out of each batch, what's a batch size, what's a pass or fail, what's a high pressure round. It could be open to anyone's interpretation. So at the end of the day, unless you're somehow getting a hold of an actual contract bolt, you just have to trust the manufacturer. You just have to trust them based on their reputation. If they don't have a track record of lots of guns downrange with high round counts, then again, it all boils down to trust. So if it's somebody new or kind of a boutique sort of gun, there's not a lot of history with them. You just have to trust that manufacturer, A, knows what they're doing, and B, that they have the integrity to stick with it. Because the unfortunate reality is bolts like this that fail at, the guy said these all failed at like 1,000 rounds on a 10.5 inch 5.56, which is abysmal. But the thing about these is the vast majority of people who are the end users for this kind of product, they're not going to put more than maybe 200 rounds through the gun. They'll buy it, they'll put a couple boxes through it, then they'll put it in the safe. And the consequence of that is that these manufacturers can skimp on the quality, and it's never going to show up. Very rarely because somebody who's going to put $5,000 to $10,000 worth of ammunition through a gun, they're not going to buy a $400 or $500 AR, even a $600 AR. Because in the grand scheme of things, that's whether you spend say $600 on an AR or $1,000 or even $1,500, in the grand scheme of things, the cost of the gun is pretty much irrelevant. When you look at what your ammo cost is. So, and not to mention range fees. Most people don't have a back 40 to go shoot at. So like I said, the consequence of that is if you're appealing to an audience where somebody's going to buy your $500 AR over a $700 or $800 Colt, you know that that person is not going to put thousands of dollars worth of ammunition through it, because if they were, they would just go out and buy the Colt or even the DD. So it's very, very tempting for manufacturers to skip the quality control, because in that very rare instance where somebody does put enough rounds through it to break it, they're just going to send them a new one, and that's going to be one in maybe 10 or even 100,000 units sold. So the money they save across those many thousands of units easily makes up for the one or two they have to replace, for that really oddball case like this where somebody's going to put thousands of hard rounds through it. So like I said, the big takeaway here is, if it's HPT or MPI marked, it is completely and totally irrelevant. If the manufacturer is making a lot of noise to make sure that it's marked, that's almost a red flag in and of itself, because whether it's marked or not, at the end of the day, it either boils down to it's a military contract, or just you trust them because of their track record, or their perceived integrity as a company. So, all right, well, I'll go ahead and sign off with that. Once again, Jack with Jack Banks Design LLC. If you want to learn more about the RFAC, it's a field repair kit for your AR-15. You can go to rfac.us to learn more. Again, if you have a broken bolt, send it to me and I'll send you a free RFAC. Thank you.